Hello and welcome to the Firmly Founded Teen Podcast, where teens get tips and coaching on how to feel more in control of their lives. Because while the teenage years may be unstable and awkward, you don't have to be. I'm your host, Joey Mascio, certified life coach for teens and young adults. This is episode number 3, The Source of Unlimited Power. I am a huge proponent of power. I feel everyone should have as much of it as possible in their own lives because that's what we're here for, to learn how to have the power to control our lives. A big source of power comes from feeling valuable, your individual worth. If you feel worthless, you feel powerless. If you feel like you have no value, then you will have no power. But if you could tap into a source of unlimited worth, you could harness unlimited power. That's what this episode is about. First off, review time. Again, I don't have any yet because I just launched all 3 episodes at the same time, so no reviews. But I am running that contest, which I'll talk more about at the end of the episode. But you could win a $50, a $100, or a $150 gift card to Amazon. Remember, I know you are cooped up. You can't go anywhere. And I want to try to make that easier for you, all right, by letting you buy some cool things on Amazon that will help make your pandemic. But more of that at the end of the episode. For now, let's get to it. Clarissa waited in anticipation. The whole audience did. They were about to announce the winner of the Clairview High School Poetry Contest. Clarissa needed this win. She was new to her school and relatively unknown. She felt she was heavy for her age, bigger than most. She didn't really have a great fashion sense, but if she did, her family didn't have the money to buy much more than the Walmart clothes she always wore. She was unknown and felt she was way behind of everyone else in everything from school to making friends. Clarissa had worked really hard on her poem, poured her heart and soul into it, and she knew that if she won, that would mean something. That would mean that she was worth something. The principal opened the envelope and read it. The winner of the poetry contest is... So, where does your individual worth come from? Have you ever considered it? And I'm not asking in a philosophical sense either. I'm asking like concrete, hardcore, what is your answer? Right now, you are definitely using something as your measuring stick to determine your worth, whether you're aware of it or not. So, let's consider some possible sources of worth. So first off, your abilities. Getting straight A's, being a great athlete, doing all the right things, having a set of skills. That is one measure that people use to determine their individual worth. Now, why it's not the best is because if you can't do those things, you may think that you have less worth in the world. Or if you could do something, run really fast or play football really well, and then an accident happens and now you can't do that thing, then your individual worth is gone. It's out the window. So basing your worth off of your abilities is not the source of unlimited power. Next is basing your worth off of what other people say. If someone says something good about you, then it increases your worth. Or if someone says something bad about you, then you could feel it decreases your worth. Now, this isn't the best source either because giving the say of your value to other people is just not a very smart idea. Right? Other people are unstable, just as unstable as we are. So giving the power to them to determine how much we think we are worth could result in a bad day for us, especially if the other person is having a bad day. So basing your worth off of what other people say is not the source of unlimited power. Next, your looks. So if you look a certain way, if you look the right way, then some people feel they have worth. Whether you wear the right clothes, weigh the right amount, face looks the right way, your head's the right shape or size, you have the right amount of hair, the right kind of hair, the right color of hair, whatever. It's not the best source either because it's subjective. Some people think someone might look great and other people might think they don't look so great. Right? It's subjective. It differs on depending who you ask. So ask the right people, your worth can go up. Ask the wrong people, your worth could go down. Right? And plus, our looks change. Right? If you base it off your looks and you think you look the best, and you get older and those looks fade, then you could feel that your worth fades. And for the most part, looks are out of our control. Most of us are just born looking like this. Basing your worth off of something you can't control is also not a very good way to go about it. So basing your worth off of your looks is not the source of unlimited power. Next is your accomplishments. What you've done. I've been to France. I've traveled the world. I've been awarded this medal, or I've volunteered so many hours of my time in a soup kitchen. Or some people base their worth off of the accomplishments they either haven't done. I've done nothing, therefore my worth is low. Or some of the wrong things they've accomplished. I've been to jail. Now my worth is lower because of the things that I've accomplished. Or you could say the things that you've done. Now, that's not the best source either because doing things or going places can't possibly determine your worth. It's like saying this green shirt is better than that green shirt because this green shirt has been to France. All right? Both green shirts. Plus, most of the things you've done or accomplished all live in the past. They don't live in the present. So, therefore, you could view yourself as more worthy when you were in France or when you were winning that award, but that was last year and you haven't gone anywhere or won anything or done anything of note this year, and now your worth is lower or has dropped. So basing your worth off of your accomplishments is not the ultimate source of power. Next is comparing yourself to others. A lot of people want to say, well, okay, if I measure myself against this person and I'm here, I'm up here and they're down here, therefore I must have more worth than this other person. But the problem with that is that you're always going to meet someone who's higher than you in any area, whether that's accomplishments or whether that is in the way they look or what they've done or how much money they have or anything like that. You're always going to find someone who is further along than you in any area. And so that's a really unreliable source of worth. Plus, what that would mean is that I can only mingle with people who I view as lower than me, and therefore I would always have increased self-worth. And that doesn't seem like a good way to get it either, because again, somebody new walks in the door that is higher than you and your self-worth is gone. So basing your worth off of what other people have or haven't done in comparison to you is not the source of unlimited power. Next is money. Some people determine their self-worth based off of how much money they have or what their net worth is. And just because the word worth is in net worth, they seem to correlate it with their individual worth. The more money I have, the more worth I have. The less money I have, the less worth I have. Well, that is also unreliable because your money is going to come and go. I know people who have made millions and lost millions over and over again. I know some people that can only make a certain amount of money, and other people who were just born with lots of money. So basing your worth off of how much money you have is not the source of unlimited power. And lastly, some people base their worth off of popularity or fame, meaning the more people know me, the more worth I have. Or the more people know me and like me, the more worth I have. Because there's also fame in the bad way. A lot of people know me, but none of them like me. I'm nefarious. Plus, you could also be very popular wherever you are and then go someplace where people don't know you, and then your worth would be completely gone. You'd be walking around wait a minute, I thought I was somebody, and everybody's like, we don't know who you are. I imagine famous actors, Tom Hanks, for example, if he goes to Africa where they don't have TV or watch movies, they probably have no idea who he is. And if he had based his individual worth on people knowing him being a celebrity, then his worth would be different depending on which continent he was on. And that doesn't make any sense either. So basing your worth off of how many people know you and like you is not the source of unlimited power. Now, this doesn't mean that we don't want to strive for any of these things, or we shouldn't seek after some of these things. We can seek to make money, or we could want to lose weight or get a six-pack. We can even want to learn how to play the guitar or strive to be the best at something. We just have to recognize that once we get those things, our worth won't be any greater than it is right now. We should have the mentality that getting those things would be cool, and that's about it. The problem with all of these sources of worth is that they are limited. They fluctuate. They can all come to an end. And if they all come to an end at the same time, that could be disastrous. I've seen it happen to people. The only source of unlimited worth is to decide that you were born with it. You were born with just as much worth as you'll ever have, and just as much worth as everybody else. Now, your worth was God-given. It can't be taken or diminished, added to or grown. Right? Nothing you can do, buy, or know can alter it, and nothing anybody else says or does can either. What would happen if you believed that about yourself? That you were just born with all the worth you're ever going to have, and it's a substantial amount of worth. Right? That it's just so much worth. As much worth as a person can have, you have it, and so does everybody else. Right? What would happen to you? How would you view yourself? Would it change how you viewed yourself? How would you view yourself if you lost in a competition, or if you won an award? Right? What would that do for you in those sometimes crucial moments of life? And what if you believed that no one person has more worth than another? Like, what would happen in your life if you believed that? How would you view certain people? Enemies, outcasts, unskilled people, right people or wrong people, famous people, poor people. If they all have the same value, then how do you get to view them? What feelings would that bring up for you? And how would that help you in your life? Did Clarissa win the poetry contest? I want you to decide the end of that story. Because whether or not she won is not nearly as important as whether or not you think her worth would change in either outcome. And I know when it's a story about somebody else, it's a lot easier to say, oh no, her worth is the same no matter what. But what parts of your life have been just like Clarissa's, where you've really hung some worth on something, an event, an award, the right words from the right people, having money, being known? When have you put yourself in Clarissa's shoes and mistakenly attached your worth to something that is limited? Because remember, your worth is unlimited. Therefore, your power is absolutely unstoppable. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Please leave a review and be honest whether you like the episode or not. And if you leave a review and include your Instagram handle, you'll be entered into the contest to win a $50, a $100, or a $150 Amazon gift card. This competition is only running to the end of March 2020. Now, if you leave a review on iTunes and you follow me on Instagram, you will be entered twice into the contest. Want more entries into the contest? If you know someone who needs this message, find the post on Instagram where I share this episode and tag them in the comments. You will get one additional entry for every person you tag who needs this message. So, again, after you left a review, with your Instagram handle and followed me on Instagram, you will get one additional entry for every person you tag in the comment section on my Instagram post for this episode. Thank you so very much again, and I'll see you out there. I'm running a contest right now until April 15th to help get the word out and to add some excitement to your lives while you're locked up for this whole pandemic thing. Plus, I want to do my part to help stimulate the economy. So if you leave me a review on iTunes and include your Instagram handle so I can contact you, you'll be entered into the contest to win a $50, a $100, or a $150 Amazon gift card. If you leave a review and follow me on Instagram, you'll be entered twice. Want more entries into the contest? If you know someone who needs this message, find the post on Instagram where I announce this episode and tag them in the comments. You will get one additional entry for every person you tag who needs this message. So to review, after you left a review on iTunes with your Instagram handle and follow me on Instagram, you will get one additional entry for every person you tag in the comment section on my Instagram post for this episode. Good luck.